What is going on, everybody? It is episode 743 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, crisis actors. It's Mary. I think I'm ready. We were just having a debate off air, and I would like to hear your input into this issue.
About the cans?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because, you know, you have an energy drink before the show, during the show, as usual. And you have your Monster, and every time before you open the can, you do the little tap thing on the top of the can.
I tap the top of the can, yeah.
And I looked at that, and I was like, why do you do that? What is that?
My logic was growing up, you know, in my childhood, as far back as you can remember, all the way back to the 90s, you tapped on the top of a can when you opened it to prevent it from exploding everywhere.
It's just like
pushing the fizz, the carbon dioxide bubbles down.
You have a can that's been sitting on a table for hours. Why would you even think it was going to explode the second you opened it?
Look,
it's not like you were shaking it around everywhere.
Better to be prepared, I say. Better to be prepared.
One day you're just going to open a Monster can that's been sitting still for hours and it's going to explode.
The problem is it only is going to happen the one time you don't do it, thus further, you know, expanding your paranoia.
Right, but you would never know if the tapping worked because it's just not going to explode anyway.
I've had
and then you looked up. The experts have told us the tapping does nothing.
I have seen multiple different examples of it saying, one says, yes, it kind of works. Another one says it works, but not as well as tapping the side of the can, which I don't know any psychopath who did that. And all other such things. So, and then others saying that it doesn't work at all.
Tapping is pseudoscience?
Apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently. I don't know. The scientists need to get together and finally resolve this issue.
It's literally such a habit that
seems like BS.
I don't even think about it anymore. I just do it.
Yeah, that's nice that you have a little routine about it.
Yes, every single day. It's gonna. I'm trying to think if there's any other such examples. If you know, everyone's got stuff like that. Whether it's like how they open doors. You know, everyone's got something like that, some habit that's not necessary, but it's a tick.
I'm trying to think of mine, but I don't know what it is. I guess I wouldn't know because I don't watch myself.
Yeah. I'm just going to assume that it works. And what has happened is I've staved off a lifetime's worth of just liquid going everywhere by doing that every day.
Yeah, you're keeping yourself safe.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least keeping myself from having to wash my hands. We got a bunch of stuff to get into today, guys. People are in the chat having a discussion about this.
It got heated already.
Yes, they're already talking about it right now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is exactly what I wanted.
So we got a bunch of stuff to get into today, guys. But before we get started, would you please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Remember to share the video, the live stream, the segments out with your friends, your family, your loved ones, people you like, people you don't like at all, mortal enemies. Perhaps you have one of those. You know, I don't know many people with actual mortal enemies. But if you do, you should share these episodes out with them. And also remember that we do put out segments in the evening as well. We don't just put them out at 8, noon, and live at 3. We put them out 8, noon, we're live at 3, and then we have other segments that come out at 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. So if you haven't caught the show live, you can always catch up with segments at that time. It's very exciting. So we got a bunch of stuff to get into today. MGK and Megan Fox have broken up. It turns out that blood rituals are not as binding as we seemed to think they were. Shocking. Absolutely shocking, I say. And this is just months before she gives birth. It's very, very Hollywood. So we're going to get into all of the details with that. We're also going to talk about an actress named Emma Dumont who was in Oppenheimer. She played Oppenheimer's brother's wife. Oppenheimer's brother's wife.
Would be Oppenheimer's sister-in-law.
Yes. Well, I like my way better. I take the long way around. It's fine. And she has come out as non-binary, transmasculine. Yes. So we're going to talk about it. I watched a really good video today from a YouTuber named Greg Owen that was about the idea of DEI in Hollywood and the idea of basically these types of, it's like wine, right? It's luxury beliefs. And I think that this kind of gets into it now. It's the idea of luxury beliefs are like wine for rich people. So we're going to get into all of that. We're also going to talk about Gwen Stefani because people had a stronger reaction than even I would have thought about the fact that she did this ad for Hello, because apparently you you're not supposed to do that, right?
You're not supposed to
be a Hallowbat
Christian.
girl.
Well, it's not just that. Like, you're not supposed to speak about being Christian.
You can mention it at an award show. You can mention it at an award show, and that's it.
You can go to Hillsong once or twice, but if you talk about the fact that you're Christian in Hollywood, that's when your ex-fans will come out to trash you.
So we're going to get into it. We got a bunch of other stuff. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, let's go.
Right, let's go ahead. I have to now close all my research on tapping a can to get started.
Sorry about that.
Let's talk about Jay-Z.
That would be my fault. Well, Jay-Z has just made his first public appearance since these allegations of him committing criminal acts against a child alongside Diddy came out in this new lawsuit. He went to the premiere of Mufasa alongside Beyonce and their daughter Blue Ivy, who has a role in the movie, and responses were extremely mixed. One person said, "Stop allowing people with PDF file allegations at a movie whose main target audience is children. Disney supporting pedos, what's new?" If you weren't aware, the allegation is that Jay-Z assaulted a 13-year-old girl with Diddy at a VMAs after party in the year 2000. That accuser is still anonymous, but Jay-Z's legal team is pushing for her to come out with her real name, her real identity before proceedings go forward.
Which is a very reasonable request in the U.S. justice system, the right to face your accuser.
I would agree, but at the same time, Jay-Z could be willing to go by other means to silence this person, right?
Yeah.
That's why I would be afraid in her position because, wasn't it Kanye that said Jay-Z has shooters or whatever?
Yeah.
I mean, was it Kanye that said that?
I remember that. Was it Kanye who said that? I remember
the rumor is that, and I'm not saying I believe this either, but the rumor is that Jay-Z and Beyonce have been partners in crime more so than spouses for many years now.
The discussion that was going on that I saw on Twitter, and we will get into a little bit. Look, there's been follow-ups with accusations from Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's lawyer, and then Tony Busby. We'll get into a little bit of that. But the discussion that I saw happening on Twitter was about whether it was a good idea to do this at all, meaning that certain people were saying that it was in poor taste for Jay-Z to go do this because it takes the spotlight off of his daughter who's in the movie. And if I remember correctly, Beyonce played Nala in the 2019 Mufasa.
She did?
I believe so. Somebody can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. I'm coming up with that one off the top of my head, but I believe so. So it makes sense to, it's in the family to work in this franchise, apparently.
I saw another clip where Blue Ivy was posing on the red carpet last night, and Beyonce just waltzed into the shot.
She pulled an
apple. And totally took the spotlight off of her daughter. Truthfully, if they wanted their daughter to have the attention and the spotlight and the credit for doing this movie, Jay-Z would not have gone.
Yes.
And he is stealing all of the attention because he's in the middle of a massive controversy right now. So 50 Cent actually made fun of him for showing up at this event. He probably was planning to go anyway. It's not like this was a sudden thing. But 50 Cent posted on Instagram, Jay said, "They said I R-worded a kid. Everybody get dressed. We're going to see Mufasa. LOL." So
I will always appreciate the distance and perspective 50 Cent adds to situations like this, as he was doing with Diddy as well.
Yeah.
He adds a certain, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right. Yeah, that was the word I was going to use. So I was like, I'm not saying it's right, but he adds a levity that just isn't there for these types of topics.
Yeah, which I appreciate for what it is.
Given how serious the topic is.
Yeah. And he might be coming out with a Jay-Z documentary after this Diddy one.
Before long, yeah. And
not
then,
only
of course, Tina Knowles.
Right. Jay-Z's mother-in-law, Tina Knowles, was spotted liking a post about the allegations leveled against Jay-Z. And then she claimed after being caught that her account on Instagram got hacked. She posted this notes app explanation saying, "I was hacked. As you all know, I do not play about my family. So if you see something uncharacteristic of me, just know that it's not me."
Who was it we talked about recently that talked about getting hacked as well?
I think
we just talked about something like that recently, and I was like, look, that doesn't fly anymore. You know what I'm talking about? Chat, who the hell were we talking about where somebody else said recently that they got hacked, and I'm like, nobody's buying that in 2024? If it's like the one thing that you said.
It was something related to the quarterback who recently got engaged.
Okay.
Josh Allen.
Okay.
He got engaged to, what was the girl's name?
I've already forgotten all of this.
Oh my gosh. This is like a terrible sign for our...
Oh, was it Usher?
No. Josh Allen. Wait. I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
Haley Steinfeld, yes. So Josh Allen's ex
said that she got hacked.
Josh Allen's ex commented something about how he has CTE on Instagram. And then later on, she was like, guys, my account is getting repeatedly hacked. That wasn't me.
Yeah.
That in 2024 does not fly.
Yeah,
we are tech literate now. You can't just use that as an excuse. Keep your thoughts to yourself if you're not ready to share them.
I'm with Vexed Peril in the chat. Aaliyah is looking down, smiling right now, watching the downfall of
why would we believe that?
But the joke that I always made said Beyonce only exists because Aaliyah died, and
is that true?
I mean, in my belief that Aaliyah was the true star. That's my opinion. Just my opinion. People have their own opinions on that. But yeah, so nobody's buying the "you got hacked" stuff these days. Be very weary of what you like, lest people go looking for it there.
It must suck to be Blue Ivy and know that your parents are such scumbags.
But there was this from Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro, says claims Busby tried to coerce women into false allegations, which of course Busby calls ridiculous because we're just living in the age of he said, she said, he said, she said. It says Jay-Z is staying on the offensive against attorney Tony Busby, informing a judge that there's a reason to believe that Busby is pressuring potential clients to make false allegations in the suits. His lawyer says a woman reached out to his firm, Quinn Emanuel, on Monday night to share her experience with Busby's firm. According to a declaration filed Tuesday morning in federal court, one of Spiro's associates said she got a phone call from the woman who said she'd previously contacted Busby's firm seeking representation over allegations of sex trafficking and abuse. The woman said that she reached out to Busby because she had seen his solicitation for anyone who may have been a potential victim of Sean Combs, but she'd made it clear her allegations were not related to Diddy. She claims that Busby associates asked, "At what point did you meet Diddy?" She also claims that Busby's firm pressed her to file a lawsuit anonymously. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Keep it anonymous. And also discouraged her from filing a criminal complaint, which he also says in this, like he responded to this saying that, look, if they want to file a criminal complaint, they can.
This is turning into an MLM.
Kind of.
Accusing Diddy of wrongdoing is turning into an MLM where this guy just gets an affiliate link, basically. Tony Busby can get a cut of any settlement payments that are made to anonymous accusers.
This one here says Tony Busby is being sued because he held back settlement payments and then charged me interest. So there's all of these stories, building up.
It's giving Saul Goodman.
Jay-Z is able to afford the best lawyers on the planet who are going to be able to run an unbelievable legal and PR campaign to try and save him in this respect. I don't know who's innocent or guilty. I honestly have my suspicions, but it's not really the point. The point to me, more pragmatically, is how it appears. And how it appears right now is that having his name attached to this lawsuit is very, very different when it's connected to Diddy, who has lost all public favor.
The aspect that you mentioned about PR is more important.
Absolutely.
And that's the reason why the accuser wants to stay anonymous.
Yep.
So I really can't fault an accuser of Jay-Z for not wanting her real identity out there.
Yeah, but I guess by the virtue of the U.S. justice system is that it's supposed to give you the right to face down the person who's making these claims against you.
Which is why this is a civil suit
exactly.
instead of a criminal one.
Which is why they will claim civil because obviously, what is it, like burden of proof is also much lower at a civil proceeding. So look, all of this is kind of to be expected, and it's depressing and it's sad. And in a lot of ways, like when we cover it, it's kind of the worst of what we cover because I see this stuff and it distills all of the worst aspects of Hollywood in the music industry and the depravity of human nature as it relates to those types of people. Obviously, we know that there's quite a bit of it in those industries, and it kind of, you see it boiled down to just legal proceedings and PR memos.
And Instagram posts.
And Instagram posts, and it's depressing.
This person responded saying, "The Carters are untouchable and unbothered. All of these rumors and speculation exist in your crazy bubbles, tweets, and thoughts, but they will never exist in reality. The Carters will forever be okay and amazing." And I agree. All of that is true, just not for the reason you think. They're going to be okay forever and untouchable and unbothered forever because of how rich and powerful they are, regardless of whether there is veracity to any of these claims.
I agree. All right, guys, we got a bunch of other stuff to get into today, so let's keep going. So I was going to write like a monologue for this, but I don't think I'm going to. Look, Marvel is struggling right now. They had a big hit this past year with Deadpool and Wolverine, but if any of the video essays that I've been watching a lot of lately indicate one thing, it's that the excitement is gone, and Marvel as a company is becoming increasingly desperate to try and reel audiences back in and rebuild the excitement that once existed during, say, Endgame back in 2019. And the way they seem to be doing that is going back to the well over and over and over again. And the big one that they have coming up is, of course, Avengers Doomsday, which is bringing back their most successful directors in the Russo brothers. Robert Downey Jr. is back, albeit not as Tony Stark. He's coming back as Doomsday. As Dr. Doom, excuse me. I almost Doomsday. He should have been Doomsday in DC. And now they are going back to the well again, where they are bringing back Chris Evans in an untitled role in the next Avengers movie in Doomsday.
So he is not coming back as Steve Rogers.
We do not know that.
As he was last seen.
We do not know that. So
he could be Johnny Storm?
What I'm fearing here, guys, is we're going to get Hydra Cap. We're going to get evil Captain America, and we're going to have evil Captain America go up against good new Captain America, and I think the audiences will crap all over that. One of the problems they have right now, and nobody can see it through the excitement that people are feeling, is that one of the issues people had with the new phases of Marvel is that they felt that they were trying to replace the straight white actors, okay?
Yeah.
That's whether you believe that's true or not, whether you think that the DEI initiatives or the new casting or the new stories that they told were organic or not relevant. What's relevant is what the audience believes to be true. And if they believe that to be true, if they believe that audiences were trying to, or that the studio was trying to replace the straight white stars of this franchise, which built it up to what it was, then possibly the worst thing you could do would be to bring back the two most successful actors from those franchises and turn them into bad guys. It feels like even more of a rebuke than simply not bringing the characters back at all.
But sometimes villains are more well-liked by the audience than the heroes.
I mean, and that could be the case here. Look, Robert Downey Jr. being as charismatic as he is, it leans into that. I enjoyed Chris Evans for what it was in The Gray Man, doing his weird Ace Ventura, Jim Carrey impression with his mustache, but he's not what you think of. I don't really care to see Chris Evans in a Marvel movie doing a bad guy. I would rather see him portray, Captain America, Steve Rogers.
When you're referring to good Captain America, you're referring to Anthony Mackie's version?
I'm sure he'll be in that movie. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's interesting you would say that because rumors suggest Anthony Mackie and all the cast of Captain America Brave New World are frustrated by the timing of this announcement, which comes 2 months before their film's release. Many behind the scenes view it as a premature announcement and believe it detracts from the spotlight on Mackie's upcoming film.
Yeah, look, I think like this is the independent, so inside sources, trust me, bro. I don't know. We have a 20 here from Lasercam Live, says, I know Busby indirectly. He is a serious lawyer, but overall a scumbag. He represented BP in the Deepwater Horizon case. I don't judge a lawyer based on who they represent. I guess it's their job.
Yeah.
You know? Like
it's just about whether there are shady practices.
Yeah, exactly.
Not necessarily shady people that you're defending.
Look, if I have to hear Chris Evans say "Hail Hydra," it's probably not going to be all that great. But look, you have to go back to the well over and over again. And again, this is what a lot of people have been making great videos dissecting why Marvel is starting to fail. You know, the lack of coherency post Endgame. How even, I was watching this one the other day about how even the post-credit scenes fell apart, whereas in the early days of the MCU, the post-credit scenes were short tidbits that even in a short amount of visual time were able to convey the next phase or the next story to be told, and now they've just devolved into glorified cameos. Oh, look, there's Harry Styles. Oh, look, there's Charlize Theron. Is Anthony Mackie? You know, I don't know. I never thought of Anthony Mackie personally as a leading man. He's a great actor. He was great. One of the things he was in last year was Twisted Metal, which I really, really liked, but it was a television show. It wasn't a movie. I never really thought of him as a leading man. One of the things I loved about him so much was that he elevated Captain America in Winter Soldier and Endgame, and he's a great side character. But I would have rather he had gotten the chance as Sam Wilson as Falcon rather than as Captain America. And then they talk about Chris Evans doing this for possible financial pressures.
Right.
I don't know what that means. He's really involved. He has he's invested in a dog food company.
What is it?
It's called Jinx.
Never
like a
heard
sustainable
of it.
dog food company.
It's no Mint Mobile.
I know that. Well, I know he had a startup, like a bipartisan political company that was designed to get people information faster and more accurately. It was called A Starting Point. I don't know if anything came of that. Certainly he's partisan in his free time, obviously, given what happened with all of the Avengers coming together for Kamala. But look, these are his roles in the last few years. Knives Out, Defending Jacob, The Gray Man, Red One, and then what was the last one? It was, and Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously, is a different character.
20 from Jose Quintana. Happy Tuesday. I'll check out Mary in a day or two. I plan to see Werewolves this week. Dune Prophecy thus far is good. Long live the Optical Overlord and Ghost Empress.
Thank you.
I've heard bad things about Mary, so maybe save your time. But I forgot about Dune Prophecy.
Yeah, I deleted my HBO Max a while ago, so I
forgot they were trying to make that happen.
I don't know what the financial pressures are. I don't know if I buy that. I think on an individual scale, I think Marvel right now probably needs him way more than he needs them. I don't think he needs to get up and act another day in his life.
But they're both in a desperate situation of their own. I mean, say what you will about Marvel, they still have $200 million just to pay Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, $200
That's insane.
To do
that should be the budget of a Marvel movie.
Well, no, the thing is if that's over 2 movies, so it's $100 million a movie. Look, if they make $1 billion each, then who's laughing then? Right?
Okay, still, it's kind of insane.
But I mean, it's what we talk about all the time. We say the budgets of these films cannot last forever.
That's a hefty price tag to gamble getting people to care about your movies again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, they might just stop.
What would
make them give up?
Marvel?
That's what I want to know.
I don't think they
what would be enough for them to just give up?
It would never happen.
Never?
It would never happen.
No amount of failure?
It's its own ecosystem, and Star Wars is limping along right now. Marvel is in, for all its problems, Marvel is still better off in many ways than Star Wars is.
Yes.
But look, things aren't looking good in general. People had critiques of, episodes 1 and 2 of Creature Commandos, because apparently James Gunn took a shot at right-wingers with some of the animation. I didn't watch it. It's not the point. But right now, Sony... I kid you not. We're on the cusp of the release of Kraven, and Sony's like, we're done. They're done with the Sony Spider-Man extended universe. All they've got in the upcoming is the Sony 2026 Marvel movie, which they're only helping produce. They're not actually making that movie. And then they've got, Spider-Man Noir, which is the live-action Nicolas Cage Spider-Man show on Amazon. And then they've got Beyond the Spider-Verse with the guy who's simping for his co-star and is down bad in the comments section. So, look, there's struggles all around for all of these people right now. It's not looking good.
Is Sony gonna keep Spider-Man?
Oh yeah,
forever.
You will pry Spider-Man from their cold dead hands. He's worth too much money.
Well, then what do you mean when you say they're done?
No, they're done with the Sony Spider-Man Extended Universe. So they're making all the movies that they've made about villains, where they turn them into heroes. Venom, Morbius, Kraven, Madam Web, all of these characters. They're done with those movies.
Okay.
After Kraven, which is funny because I saw them saying like, you got to give it a chance, man. Aaron Taylor Johnson's like, it's going to be great. You got to give it a chance, man. That doesn't work these days. It doesn't matter anymore.
Earn your chances.
Spider-Man will make money forever just by being Spider-Man. So we'll have to wait and see. But I believe that Marvel needs Chris Evans more than Chris Evans needs them. How they use him is up in the air. I think using some form of evil Hydra Cap is a horrible idea. But maybe perhaps the idea is to team him up with Doctor Doom. Again, like I said, then I feel like you're just looking at the good guys and being like, now they're bad guys. And the audiences that have checked out, the ones who are like, Marvel made movies post Endgame? I didn't even know. They're going to be like, they're going to see him on screen like, why is he a bad guy? I don't get it. He was a good guy the last time I saw him.
The normies are out of the loop.
All right.
We have another 20 from Jose Quintana. Empress, what are the negative comments toward the Mary movie? I would think there is a divide on who she is between Catholics and Protestants historically. Are people saying there is a conclave theme? Long live PCC. No, nothing as bad as conclave. Not even close to as bad. But I heard from Shane H. Wilder yesterday that it's just not like accurate to scripture. There's no Annunciation. There's no Magnificat. They show her lying, which I presume some Protestants wouldn't have a problem with that. But the filmmaker, it's just confusing because the filmmaker, as I recall, is Catholic. So why would he include that in the movie? And also, it's Netflix, so I don't trust them anyway.
I mean, is part of that maybe just like you're more learned in your understanding of Christianity or your understanding of your religion than the director perhaps is?
But then that would just mean that I'm less able to enjoy the movie. So I don't. Then I would just choose not to, watch it, not give it a chance.
It does come down to that. A lot of times, perhaps they just feel like they have to choose, right? Like I have to make concessions at some point here. But I guess that's not necessarily even true because a lot of religious people really loved Passion of the Christ.
But I haven't heard any complaints about the Passion of the Christ being.
That's not what I'm saying. That's maybe an argument
inaccurate.
Against what I'm saying. Is like maybe like it can be done well when it's accurate, but
there have been all those complaints too, just about The Chosen as well, which I haven't even watched. Yeah, more than like a few episodes in. Are you any further in?
No.
Than you left off?
I'm in a particularly worse stage than normal of my ADHD, which is like when Olivia's home, we watch one thing and we keep watching it because she's very focused. She wants to get through each season. I've turned her into an NCIS LA fan, so she's an honorary boomer, just like me. But everything else, when she's not home, it's not even like a point where I'm watching one show a day. I'm watching one episode of one show, going to the next show, watching one episode of that. So my brain is even less focused than normal when I'm at home.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not good. I will have to get back to it at some point, though. Perhaps over the Christmas break. That seems like a fitting time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's move on.
Well, it's no secret to anyone watching that the press tour for Wicked, both before this film came out and after, has been an absolute shit show. And one of the most heated discussions or controversies around the Wicked press tour has just been the fact that both of the stars look unwell. If you look at before photos from before this film was released and then after, you will see that they both look to be severely underweight and sickly. And a lot of people in the public have pointed this out. And then in response, you see a bunch of Ariana Grande stans specifically saying that you have no right to comment on her looks, her appearance, her body. All of that is none of your business. And she looks beautiful, and how dare you? Yeah. So I think it's pretty clear that Ariana Grande is clinically underweight. We will never know what the reason for that is. and it's, again, like, not really our concern. But to say that it's not our place to notice and comment on it, I think is insane, because you're in a movie. One of the first, if not the first thing that matters about you is how you look and people's opinion of how you look. But recently, Ariana Grande responded to some of the public criticism of her appearance and says that she is just not holding space for that.
We're going to watch this whole clip here?
Yeah.
All right.
Kind of doing this in front of the public and kind of been, you know, a specimen in a petri dish really since I was 16 or 17, you know. So I have heard it all. I've heard every version of it, of what's wrong with me. And then you fix it, and then it's wrong for different reasons. And then, but that's everything from, you know, even just the simplest thing, your appearance, you know, that you're young and you're hearing all kinds of things. It's hard to protect yourself from that noise. And I think it's something that is uncomfortable no matter what scale you're experiencing it on. Even if you go to Thanksgiving dinner and someone's granny says, oh my God, you look skinnier, what happened? Or you look heavier, what happened? It's like, that is something that is uncomfortable and horrible no matter where it's happening, no matter the scale it's happening on. And I think in today's society, there's a comfortability that we shouldn't have at all. Commenting on others' looks, appearance, what they think is going on behind the scenes, or health, or how they present themselves, you know, from what you're wearing to your body, to your face, to your everything. There's a comfortability that people have commenting on that I think is really dangerous. And I think it's dangerous for all parties involved. And
that's a very, very unreasonable thing to expect given her profession. Like, almost on a macro scale, one of the most unreasonable requests you could ever make is for people to blindly consume and not have a single thought other than consume.
Right.
It's actually, if you really think about it, it's actually kind of infuriating. Like, as accurate as right as she may be, that it kind of sucks that it's happening, and it does suck for her that she has to hear such things being said about her. It is the nature of the beast of your industry, and to expect people to just blindly consume without having a single thought in their head really does make you wonder whether those accusations of Hollywood being propaganda designed to just satiate your every need and keep you from thinking about anything makes it feel a little bit more true.
It says a lot about what she thinks of you as an audience member.
I think that I'm really lucky to have the support system that I have, and to just know and trust that I'm beautiful, you know. Thank you. And so are you. And so are you. But I do know what the pressure of that noise feels like. It's been a resident in my life since I was 17. And I just don't invite it in anymore. It's not welcome. I have work to do. I have a life to live. I have friends to love on. I have so much love. And it's not invited, so I don't leave space for it anymore. And however you all can protect yourselves from that noise, whether it's at a family reunion or online, we've either got to block people, I don't care.
Okay, that's fine. Do that. Block people. But don't expect it not to happen.
Well, she's saying it's dangerous to feel comfortable commenting on someone's appearance. Like, dangerous? It's a little bit melodramatic.
She also made it seem like it was a modern thing, but then she goes, your granny says to you when you show up at... That's been going on forever.
Yeah.
That's been going on forever.
Some people are more entitled to have an opinion about how you look than others. For instance, your family members, or if you have a spouse, or your friends.
Yeah.
Or maybe your customers who are paying to see your movie. They would have an entitlement to comment on your appearance because they're actually paying to look at you for 3 hours.
I don't know. I disagree. I don't even think that that's a reasonable request. I think as long as these press tours go out and people have access to all of it on the internet, anybody with an internet connection who you ask for the attention from. You ask for the attention of some random person to put eyeballs on your interview, on your promotional tour in hopes of selling them something, and they have to just consume it and not have an opinion. That's not the way the world works. That's utopian bullshit, and nobody actually believes that things work that way. Like, I guess it would be more undignified if it was a dude doing this. Like, I understand it a little bit more from the perspective of a woman, given that women's physical appearances are judged in the way that they are. Men are too. It's really funny. We talked about on Friday about this topic about in this diversity report about women being 5 times more likely to be objectified on screen. I'm like, in what? Like, I guess I was like, in what? Like Megan Fox in Subservience, I guess.
Well, that's such a subjective term.
Exactly. I was like, first of all, how do you define that?
You wouldn't be able to quantify something.
I was like
that.
But I watched a trailer that Raymond G. Stanley posted yesterday for The Gorge, which is this Apple TV series that's coming out. And they have the quintessential shot of the dude in the shower. I was like, wait, and it's him and another girl who are on opposite sides of the gorge. I'm like, waiting for the woman shot in the shower. Didn't come. Shocking. Didn't expect it to. But the point is, guys, is that, look, if you want to, I don't get to do this show and expect you to not have an opinion on what I'm doing here, right? I'm looking at the chat right now, having opinions on what we're doing here. If I ask of you to have to take the time out of your day to watch what we make, we don't have a right to tell them not to pontificate on either our thoughts, our appearance, whatever.
Right. She is casting such a wide net, trying to get as many eyes on her interviews and her movie as possible, but is also trying to make the rules for what the peasants are allowed to say about her. And it comes off as extremely out of touch and entitled.
Toxic positivity is going to be the downfall of society. We will just ignore all of the red flags right up until destruction because everyone knows to say, it's fine. We're fine.
I've seen people say similar things about Eugenia Cooney, who is clearly, visibly ill, on death's door, and has been for a long time. And they say you have no right to comment on that. You're making it worse by commenting on it. Da-da-da. Well, okay. Are we just supposed to pretend everything is fine? Is that really like what you're telling us to do right now? Is just not like we'll just pretend we don't notice. Not saying Ariana Grande is anywhere near as extreme of a case. No, obviously.
Of course not.
But you're just anyone can take a glance at her and see she is underweight, and she wasn't always as severely underweight as she was from the moment they started filming this movie. And the main rumor around it has been that she started losing more weight in order to play Glinda. Yeah. That was the rumor.
How about this? Even if you're wrong, you still have a right.
Yeah.
Because they're there. Because they've made this movie for millions of dollars and are now making millions of dollars by promoting it and assaulting your eyeballs with ads for it 24/7. Even if you're wrong, you have a right to an opinion on that. Everyone does.
And I am sick of the toxic positivity. Cynthia Erivo also weighed in. Her co-star asked about the constant attacks that co-lead Ariana Grande receives online. Cynthia Erivo says, cyberbullying is quite dangerous, and it's easy to be behind the computer typing words about a person you don't know anything about. Her course of action is to be the counterpoint to harmful narratives. Quote, be the person who tells the positive. What a person who has never met you thinks is never more important than what you think of yourself. Wasn't it Lana who just reminded me 30% of what you think about yourself is what other people say about you?
Is that true?
That's at least what she credited Freud with saying. I don't know if that's true either, but what people think of you, especially in an industry like theirs, is incredibly important, and it probably does matter more than what you think of yourself.
Yeah, I actually feel kind of bad for them because they don't actually have the luxury of believing that.
Yeah.
Because what people think of them...
This is a cope.
At the very least, even more than, say, the average everyday person who just works a regular 9 to 5, maybe they can exist in the plane of, I love myself and that's fine. Mm-hmm. Everybody else hates me, whatever. I go to work, I come home. Their paychecks are kind of defined by whether people like them or not, because it depends on whether they're willing to go see them at the movies or not.
Yeah.
So
another person who joined in on the pile-ons against Ariana Grande was a former Donald Trump advisor, Gina Loudon. She accused Wicked of being racist against white people, and she said Ariana Grande is, quote, obviously Hispanic. Quote, the racism and racial appropriation I just thought was offensive, frankly.
Did she just see the last name and didn't look any further?
That's an Italian last name, is it not? And now this is so ironic because it's Ariana Grande finally trying to look like a white person, and now she still doesn't pass.
Yeah.
I think she was referring to the race swap of Elphaba, though, when she made that comment. We have a 20 from Nate. Brett, I posted on X yesterday asking if you had seen Speak No Evil, very pertinent to the passive everything is fine mentality that has damaged culture. Critical Drinker had a wonderful video on it.
I have not seen it. I saw that Matthew Marsden posted he posted Drinker's video and said that he is the preeminent movie reviewer of our time. So that says a lot about it. I have not watched it yet. I've been watching a lot of YouTube lately, but that's not one that came across my page yet. So,
all right, let's get started. Do you want to see cringe or cute? You decide.
Well, I guess I should ask you first. And is it really bad today? Mildly bad.
I would say mildly bad, actually.
Okay. All right. We'll start with cringe then.
Okay.
All right. Let me get rid of this. Hold on, guys. Get rid of this.
Unless you disagree.
No, well, we'll find out here in a second.
Out.
All right. It says, telling my husband I can't pay the rent, and then in parentheses, I'm the breadwinner.
Tell you.
Okay.
I can't pay the rent this month.
Why not?
I just don't have the money for it.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just don't have the money. I think with all the Christmas shopping and everything, I didn't stick to our budget, I guess.
Oh my God. You just made the budget like last week, though.
I know.
Oh my God, that was the worst hand movement.
It gets worse.
When I don't have the money for it, I don't know what to do.
This is worse.
Can you just do like overtime or something on the weekend?
You want me to work overtime on the weekends?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to have to go back to work.
Okay.
Respect, King. Don't do it.
Okay. Yeah. Are you serious? You want me to work overtime on the weekends?
After what happened, they said I couldn't come back, so it's not like I can just go back and start doing hours again.
Wait, so what happened?
That's what I wanted to know.
I want to know what happened in this story.
Thank you. The nose wipe was so bad.
You know what, King? Do it. Make her go back to work. You don't need to work a day in your life.
He's giving hug from behind at the
Yes.
cash register vibes.
Broke boyfriend getting paid for at the restaurant vibes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's fake as hell. Like,
You think?
she's just pointing the phone at him and saying this. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I personally don't believe it. That's
I mean,
just
sure,
me.
that's fine if you think
Also,
it's
I'd like to have a little bit more faith in the male race.
the male race. These days, I wouldn't be so sure. I think he's giving MGK vibes. You know?
But he's a successful musician. That's the problem.
Somehow
like,
MGK still has the vibes of hug from behind at the cash register boyfriend.
Well, it's because he's so skinny with that hair.
It must be that. Yeah.
Well,
They're not sending their best, okay?
He also looks like he would have like a fat girlfriend, not a Megan Fox
kind of
girlfriend.
yeah.
So, all right. Let's do Q to the day, guys. Remember, you can submit them over at hashtag PCCPets. Tag me in there. Try to get to as many as I can. If I miss them, I do apologize, guys. I used to keep all the tabs open at once, and it would lock this computer up. So now I have to just kind of grab them as we go, and I know that I'm missing them. But this is from I Am Bandit. Says, if these make it up before Thanksgiving, I'm sorry, it didn't. Everyone can help Bandit say bon voyage to his testicles, which set sail the day after. Well, bon voyage. I fought hard to defend his boys despite his repeatedly damaging my own, but ultimately he is just too much of a butthole. Cue Boys to Men song Yesterday.
It had to be done.
Yes. you know?
C'est la vie.
All right. Let's do one more. This one from Dreamcast Night. Mew first image, Mewtwo relaxing with her cousin Sophia.
Aw. Very cute.
Mew and Sophia are mewing.
They're cuddling and
All right.
mewing.
All right, let's get started.
Love that for them. Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly are one of the messiest Hollywood couples, or I guess I should say they were one of the messiest Hollywood couples because they've just split up again. Sadly, this breakup news comes after they just announced their pregnancy in November, and allegedly the breakup happened over Thanksgiving weekend, only a few weeks after they announced this pregnancy to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Now Megan Fox is single and pregnant alone.
What did I say? Single and alone?
She is pregnant and alone, expecting her baby in March 2025.
Boys, which one of you is going to be the stepdad who steps up?
Yeah, where's the father who steps up in this situation? Because MGK is not in the picture anymore. So here are the details TMZ reported. They split just months before the arrival of their baby. Megan and MGK ended things over Thanksgiving weekend while they were together in Colorado. We're told the reason for their split is that Megan Fox found material on MGK's phone that was upsetting.
Okay, the word material is disconcerting in that. Like this
Material?
This is not like texts. Like they shouldn't say she found correspondence on his phone. I don't know if I believe that Megan Fox cares if he looks at porn, so I'm wondering what the hell it could be.
Probably cheating evidence.
Yeah.
But like she was the type to be looking through her boyfriend's phone in the first place, obviously. So Megan found material on MGK's phone that was upsetting, and it made her want him to leave their trip early. He dipped out, and since then the couple has not seen each other, and they're still not together at this time. She is due in March, and no sign of baby daddy getting back into the picture. They're both already parents, by the way. It's not like the significance of this moment is lost on them.
Brian Austin Green.
She had 3 children with her ex-husband, Brian Austin Green. MGK also has a 15-year-old daughter from his previous relationship. So they're both already parents.
Is he my age? How old is he?
MGK? Probably around your age,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, they both are.
Okay.
They're close in age. But they first got together in 2020. Since then, they got engaged, then called off their engagement, then put their engagement back on, and now it's off again. And they're carrying on like teenagers.
These are the relationships where I kind of applaud their optimism.
Is it optimism or is it just mental illness?
I'm trying to be charitable here and say, like, I can appreciate the, you know, like, we're going to keep trying. I'm being very, very charitable here. Rather, I want to say codependency.
Yes.
But I'm going to say optimism.
It's not optimism. They are definitely codependent, unstable people.
You know what it probably was? He was probably looking at like old Transformers reviews, you know, like about stuff, or he's probably talking about how much he likes Michael Bay.
He was watching our videos about how her plastic surgery looks bad.
Yeah.
We have a 20 from Jose Quintana. Empress, I can offer Miss Fox stability, breakfast, and health insurance. I am a nice person. I've dated single moms in the past. Long live PCC. You have another 20 from Cartoon Post. Brett is not a normie. A normie wouldn't be able to talk for 20 minutes about a chapel run.
I wouldn't be able to do that
Very
either,
true.
unless Mary was here. With Mary here, I can talk for 20 minutes about a chapel roan. But
I guess if it weren't for me, you never would have stand.
I would never have stand Chapel Roan. I did see that there was like a really funny moment where Sabrina Carpenter said that she looked nice, and she goes, "I look straight." And I just rolled my eyes harder than I've ever rolled my eyes in my entire life.
What?
She did. I only know this because Olivia told me. Like, she did Sabrina Carpenter's like Netflix Christmas special.
Oh, yeah.
And was, I guess, dressed kind of like traditionally whorish.
Like feminine.
Yes, and
slutty.
Sabrina Carpenter's like, you look beautiful, and she's like, I look so straight, and I was like, what does that have to do with anything?
It's like, okay,
You're trying
killed the vibe.
You're trying a little hard now.
Yeah, you're trying too hard.
You know what we need? We need her and City's Diana to work together.
That would be iconic.
It would.
Yeah.
There's another 20. Oh no, there's. I'm sorry.
So she found upsetting material on his phone. I'm assuming that just means that he was texting other bitches.
I think that's what it was. I mean, when
Yeah.
I see material, I think of like pictures of something that he's not supposed to have.
He had to have been texting other women, probably exchanging photos or videos with other women. And that's why some people said fumbling Megan Fox should be punishable by death. I mean, how does that even happen? Another rumor is that actually MGK was unhappy with her sex scenes in the movie Subservience.
She was unhappy with them?
The MGK saw... Yeah, well, the leading theory on Twitter, at least, is that MGK saw her sex scenes with her co-star in Subservience and was very offended by them.
I actually can appreciate that.
And took it personally.
You know what it is? He's not an actor. He's not an actor who has to fall in line and be like, it's our art. Like, of course I support them doing it. Like,
well, yeah, but
he's a normal dude who's like, when I see my wife simulating sex with another person, I get upset.
It's not just the sex scenes, though. It's not just the scenes in the movie. There was also this clip where her co-star is flirting with her heavy, and she is acting very receptive to it.
Here we go.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, plus, I mean, this guy's probably more traditionally handsome, so he's like, you know, what's he got that I don't?
Right.
You know, a jawline.
Right.
You're not gonna talk.
No, but this is not
For anyone?
a picture.
I know it's a video, but so someone
Like, does the arm have to be on the dude's shoulder there? Oh.
Yeah, what's that about,
It's very
Megan?
awkward.
Well, we're already talking. So, SpongeBob.
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 No.
SpongeBob? How do you say?
SpongeBob.
She's like, your accent is so hot when you say SpongeBob like that.
Why can't my boyfriend
what is
do
this
that?
for?
You asked me what I was listening to.
Yes. No, I'm saying, what is this for?
I don't know. It's just,
SpongeBob. He's a SpongeBob.
this is Italian SpongeBob.
Yes.
Starting to feel awkward, right? I can feel it. The way you laugh.
Okay.
So, yeah, that guy can make Megan Fox nervous. That's something to brag about.
MGK's like, I can't make her nervous. She always yells at me when I
Yeah.
try to make her nervous.
Yeah, so they performed blood rituals together, drinking
work.
each other's blood.
Didn't work.
That wasn't enough to bond them forever. She went looking elsewhere.
Well, the one upside that you could have for this, it's not my genre, but if you are a fan of emo music, there could be a great album made out of this.
Oh, yeah, well, actually, just shortly, a few days before they broke up, MGK tweeted that he was isolating himself in the desert to finish his album because he's, you know, becoming a dad again and he needs to use this time for his creative endeavors.
Yeah.
And now I guess he's going to restart it all over again and write it about their breakup.
You'll have to, yeah.
Well, allegedly, the first time they broke up, it was because he cheated on her.
She took him back.
He cheated on Megan Fox. She took him back. And then presumably he did the same thing all over again.
Yeah.
And knowing her, she's going to take him back. I mean, come on. You already have a kid with the guy. You shouldn't have kids with people you're not married to, by the way.
Yeah.
But
I'm with McKeown in the chat says no, somebody said they didn't do the blood rituals correctly. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe they
Must have
skipped
not been.
maybe they skipped a step.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
that's why none of this worked.
They didn't follow the instructions.
And I did see somebody mention Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton. Well, that didn't last either, right?
Were they married? They were married.
Yes.
For how long?
I don't know. It's a long time ago. Late 90s, early 2000s.
There are men in the tweets volunteering as tribute.
Of course, they'll raise the, you know,
Megan
the daughter.
Fox. Do you like guys that make $13 an hour? I can be the father who stepped up.
Maybe that's what she needs. Maybe she needs to not
Yeah.
marry a whiny emo singer. Maybe she needs to not marry an actor. She needs to marry, a dude, the dude who works as a cashier.
They were both acting like overgrown teenagers all the time, and it would probably be better for both of them if they just moved on, but they have a baby now, so you can't. That's how that works.
So now she's going to have like the failed Offspring creator group chat with her, him, and Brian Austin Green.
What's really kind of sad is when she announced her pregnancy, she implied that the baby she has now is a reincarnation of the baby that she miscarried with MGK back in 2023.
Yeah.
She has some really strange ideas about this type of stuff spiritually. And she said, "Welcome back" in the caption. She said, like, nothing ever really
Was that one wild to you?
ends like "welcome back," saying that this is the same baby.
That's literally the meme, though, where it's like some person dies. It's like Stalin dies on this day, and then some other person was born. It's like "Welcome back, Bob Dylan."
Yeah, it's bizarre. Okay, let's read super chats. Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Taco Tuesday, Brett and Mary. Favorite Christmas song, religious and or secular? For me, it is Adeste Fidelis, all 4 verses in Latin and English, and the tractor swinging home for Christmas."
Do you have one?
I don't think I have as cool of an answer. I unironically do listen to Justin Bieber, Under the Mistletoe.
I don't have any Christmas music that I really listen to. I mean,
I love a good Charlie Brown soundtrack.
Yes.
Like, that's really cozy.
Me and Olivia watched the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. On Thanksgiving, we're going to watch the Christmas special on Christmas.
It's sweet.
There was once I mentioned once the virtues of Taco John's, which is a taco fast food place that would have this annoyingly catchy version of Feliz Navidad that they would play every year when they'd make their Taco John's Christmas commercials. So I'll say that.
Taco John's Christmas?
Yep. Well, no, it was Feliz Navidad, but then they changed part of the lyrics and added Taco John's to it. So I'm gonna go with that.
Urashima Otaru said if Brett didn't tap, he would live covered in syrup.
Yeah, this thing would just explode everywhere. It'd be disgusting.
I don't think so. I really don't think that's going to happen to you. Shane H. Wilder said, I still slightly crimp my cans as when I was a kid, me and my cousins would always have the same drinks. So I did that to know which one was mine.
You turn the thing sideways.
Oh, is that what that means? I don't know.
Do one more.
Urashima Otaru said, don't ask, don't tell Christianity in Hollywood.
That's the policy.
We'll get to that later when we talk about Gwen Stefani.
All right, let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back.
An actress named Emma Dumont, who you might have recognized from Oppenheimer, recently came out as non-binary transmasculine.
I did pull up a definition of it because I was just curious how
I knew what non-binary meant. It just means that your gender falls off of the male-female binary, but transmasculine just means that you're female and you like to identify or express masculinity without identifying as male.
Yeah, it says denoting or relating to a person who has registered as female at birth, but whose gender identity is in some way aligned with or characterized by masculinity.
So that just means you're a girl who likes wearing backwards snapbacks and I don't know, wearing sports bras.
Yeah, but then
you just like to look somewhat masculine.
Didn't we just call this a tomboy back in the day?
And that actually just means that you're trans. That's what that means now.
Okay.
So TMZ was the first to report this news, this major revelation. Emma Dumont reveals they are non-binary and friends and family are calling them by a new name. The Oppenheimer star changed pronouns and name on their Instagram bio recently, writing that they now go by they, them pronouns instead of she, her. And rep for Emma Dumont tells TMZ, they identify as a trans masculine non-binary person Their work name is still going to be Emma Dumont, but they'll go by Nick with friends and family. So Emma Dumont
So it's a stage name.
is a stage name, and Nick is the friends and family name. Dumont's career has taken off in recent years, scoring major roles in Licorice Pizza, Marvel TV series The Gifted, and Oppenheimer. But I did see someone immediately make the joke, this is what you do when you haven't gotten a new acting gig in over a year.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm non-binary now. Give me a job.
She did Oppenheimer in 2023, and then she narrated a video called Bloody November in 2024, and that's the only thing. She's got one thing upcoming.
But that's not the route that you should go if you're looking for more work, because take a look at the drop in Elliot Page's career since coming out as trans.
She's got a new movie coming out right now. About
it's about being trans.
Yeah,
though.
It's
like that's my point. You can't really work in mainstream Hollywood anymore after you do this.
It starts to pigeonhole you amongst those roles.
It's a point of no return. My worry is that Emma Dumont is going to be sort of the next Elliot Page in Hollywood.
Maybe. Yeah.
Someone who once was
I mean, but without the pedigree that Elliot Page
Sure,
had
yeah.
built as Ellen Page long before that with Juno and
But I just mean, like, this is a naturally gorgeous, feminine-looking actress who decides to erase all of that, anathematize everything feminine about themselves, go by a new name, and cut off all your hair, and put on this new persona when you come out and live your true self. And it's actually just disturbing to watch. But why do you do it? Why do you do something like this? It's so that you can become a more interesting person. If you associate yourself with this movement, it just makes you more interesting. This was echoed by an actress, Annette Bening, in DC recently, saying, to have a transgender child has made me so much more interesting.
Let's listen to this here.
You're saying the quiet part out loud.
I think the greatest gift of my life is to have kids, and to have a transgender child has made me so much more interesting. So much more wise. And for the Supreme Court justices, I encourage them to talk to their kids, their grandkids, their nieces and nephews. Because I'll bet if they really sit down and ask them, do you know trans kids around you? Do you have any non-binary friends? They're going to say yes. And they're going to say that this is part of the beautiful rainbow of human beings everywhere.
Okay.
Reminds me of Gypsy Rose Blanchard's mom. She probably thought that having a daughter in a wheelchair made her very interesting and wise. And virtuous, didn't she?
Those are two, and the funny thing is these are two separate arguments. What Annette Bening is talking about versus what Emma Dumont is doing, because for Emma Dumont it's all connected to her marketability, her profession.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. With Emma Dumont, it's, at least in her mind, I have to imagine she believes that it's beneficial to her career to do this. I can't know her heart or her logic or how she feels, but it's an industry where increasingly it doesn't add much for sincerity when it became so fashionable a couple of years ago to hire people in certain roles that fit this. So, you know, it makes it hard to buy the genuine nature of all this, but I don't know.
My assumption is totally different based on what I've observed from Elliot Page and what she has written about her identity and her experience with coming out and being her true self or whatever. Obviously, Elliot Page had some very traumatic experiences in her industry.
Yeah.
And they're probably stories that we're never going to hear talked about openly, but you can only assume based on what we know about just a name like Harvey Weinstein, for instance, it's not uncommon for things like that to happen and worse. So I assumed that that was more of a trauma response, and I would assume the same thing when it's a different actress as well.
So you assume the same of Emma Dumont?
Yeah. But, you know, I could be wrong. I want to know what you think of adding this to the storyline of a show, though.
Like,
because
not them, but just in general, in reference to the...
In the second season of Squid Game, they wrote the role of a transgender woman in the series who joins Squid Game to fund her gender-affirming surgery.
Look, I'm selfishly someone who hates any type of modernity creeping into any story. I prefer my storylines to be parked firmly between the years of 2002 and 2015, and anything past that, I don't care. I hated when they added COVID into movie and television stories. I despised it. I hated seeing masks on TV shows. I hated seeing it written into shows. It actually, like, it was the fastest way to get me to turn something off. I want storylines to feel timeless. On the other hand, for something like this, the audience, I don't know what the audience breakdown age-wise is of this show, but if you're not somebody in alt media who reads about this stuff all day long, as long as it ends up being kind of an ancillary detail, it just seems like an unnecessary risk for something with not a lot of payoff. Like, you could probably do that story unbelievably well if it was the whole point of the show, but then it wouldn't be something that I'd be interested in anyways. But something like this, when it's just kind of like a secondary detail to a character, feels very ham-fisted.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're going to tell this story, it feels like it should be the whole story.
Or the whole season.
The whole season,
Yeah.
right? So to me, it feels like somebody needed to fill in a backstory for a character. And then they're like, oh, we'll do that. Which to me,
because that checks a box.
Because it checks a box, because it's what's hip right now. Look, to be fair, the shows that I love from an earlier time period did that as well with certain storylines. I've been talking a lot about watching old procedurals and seeing all the storylines around Occupy Wall Street, right? It checked a box at the time, like, what's in the news right now? Certainly Law and Order has done ripped from the headline stories for decades, but all of that was before society became as polarized as it is now, and before everyone was on their phone 24/7 with access to the internet. I also think that writers back then, because they weren't terminally online, probably had a more nuanced and deft approach to writing stories like that, which is just gone these days. How that turns out in this, I have no idea.
Well, most of the Westerners reacting to this information were offended that they didn't actually find a transgender actress to play the transgender character in question in Squid Game. Which
another
is
reason
ridiculous
to not do this story, right?
Yes.
Because when you create this story, you create a bunch of social hurdles that your show now has to gallop over just to get it made, all for a storyline that's not going to move the needle for the season anyways.
Not to mention that this is a Korean show, and Korean culture is far less comfortable with gender ideology than we are here in the West. Yeah. So they're pushing a boundary that does not need to be pushed and attracting controversy that they don't need. It's not convincing anyone new to give this show a chance. And more than that, it actually proves the point that, if you transition as an established actor in Hollywood, it doesn't improve your chances of getting roles. It actually does pigeonhole you, and that's what happened to Elliot Page.
Yeah.
After forcing the showrunners of Umbrella Academy to transition her character in the show,
they're like, crap, I gotta write this.
People don't want that amount of homework when they hire you.
Yeah.
It's asking too much of them. It's asking too much of the casting directors. It's asking too much of the audience to suspend their disbelief. And it, after all, does not make you any more of an interesting person. It is actually just sad to watch.
Hold on.
What?
I was just curious. I was right about this. 81% of American casting directors are women. So that was something that
I wonder why.
Why
is
it was
that?
always higher, but I didn't think it was ever that high. But I know that casting directors, whenever I would watch like any of the shows that I would watch, and they would have the behind the scenes featurettes, anytime they would have interviews with casting directors, I feel like everyone I ever saw was a woman. So it was something that I instinctually knew, but didn't have deep,
But it's not really
on.
the stereotype of the sleazy casting couch guy.
No.
With the clipboard.
I mean, for like big budget or for like network television, it's more about like, look, if you watch any TV show from like the 2000s through now, there's like 50 or 60 actors that are really, really good that you're going to see all the time on all the shows. It also makes it easier to know when they're the bad guy. If you're watching some type of crime procedural, because it's like if it's the one guy who's better known than the rest of them, it's like he's probably plays a more integral role than maybe is perhaps mentioned earlier on. But there was like a season 6 casting featurette about the show House, where basically the show had become so popular at that time that they just had a checklist of actors they wanted to work with, and now because the show is so popular, they're like you. I want to work with you. I want to work with you. I want to work with you. And a lot of them, and all of those casting directors were women in that season. So, but maybe that plays a role in it too, is that if women are the majority of the casting directors, that maybe they see this as a more plausible path forward, whereas a male casting director is like, look, I don't want the hassle.
They're more pragmatic.
I don't want the hassle. Maybe they think farther ahead, to their own detriment or not. If one is focused on the story and the other one's just focused on like, what's the marketing going to be like for this, and what's it going to be like to get over the hurdles in post-production, like maybe there's a more of a pragmatism to certain aspects of it that's going to become more popular now because they're just not going to want to deal with it.
Well, with an exception of someone like Ezra Miller, I've noticed it's mostly the women in Hollywood who are gravitating towards this non-binary identity. And some of them make it more of an obstacle than others. Obviously, Bella Ramsey from The Last of Us, she identifies as non-binary. She plays a female character with no issue.
Yeah.
Or Emma D'Arcy, I believe.
Yeah.
She's in House of the Dragon, identifies as non-binary, but plays a woman in the show.
Go and watch the video that Greg Owen did. It was a couple of days ago called Why DEI is Failing Hollywood. It's about luxury beliefs, and a lot of it has to do with stuff like that. It's really, really good.
I could be totally confusing Emma D'Arcy with Emma Corrin.
No, maybe both. No, Emma
But they
D'Arcy
both
is right.
identify as non-binary. Yeah. Okay, this is just too much. So Emma D'Arcy, Emma Corrin, and Emma Dumont all are actresses of about the same level of notoriety that identify as non-binary.
Emma Roberts, run!
Like, I don't want them to claim any more Emmas. Just stay away from them.
All right.
Okay. V-Wit
Emma
said...
Watson is next.
No.
Yeah.
V-Wit said sub-party people also put a girl on.
Well, we'll
put a non-binary
There's literally
on.
a girl on right now.
JTR11 said televised therapy needs to stop. What does that mean?
What do you mean?
Oh, the press run? The Wicked press tour is just glorified therapy sessions. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they could tone it down on the waterworks. That would be great. Shane H. Wilder said, my review of Mary is on X, Jose. The liberties on The Chosen are at least forgivable artistically. The Chosen also didn't start by saying, you think you know my story. Trust me, you don't. Okay, that's really cringy. I didn't know it started with that line.
You think you know me, but you don't know my story.
Mary would never say that. That's awful. Okay.
And then she was like, she ate
Did
that.
they like girl bossify Mary?
She ate that.
Did they really try to make the...
She is mother, literally.
Is she eating, like leaving no crumbs? Like, I'm very confused. They made the Virgin Mary into a girl boss. Thank you, Netflix. I hate it.
Let's do one more.
Corey Anderson said, Uggo people should not be seen, especially women. Ariana Grande is becoming borderline Uggo as a stick figure. Women are supposed to have jiggly bits. It's a time and place thing, though.
Etch that into a stone.
It's a time and place thing. You can have a different body type for a different type of role, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that has nothing to do with whether people can notice that and comment on it.
Yeah. I was watching, this is a complete aside, but I was thinking about Christian Bale being the chameleon that he is.
Yeah.
You know that apparently his inspiration for Bateman in American Psycho was Tom Cruise, in like a very specific Tom Cruise interview where he's like,
Really?
he's nice and he's friendly, but there's nothing behind the eyes. And he just seems
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But I want to see the interview he's talking about
now.
now.
I think it's not the Rosie O'Donnell one on the couch, though he does reference that one. But
that's kind of.
But or no, and then the same argument is made for when he did the movie Collateral, where he plays the bad guy. And they say, like, Tom Cruise has spent his whole life playing a good guy. He's only got a couple of roles like that. And they talk about how the whole way in which the character of Vincent in Collateral survives is having this unbelievable charm and ability to put people at ease, even though he's literally about to kill you. And he pulls all these examples of, like, Tom Cruise in an interview, like, feigning looking like a human being, or, like, actually understanding human connection.
Is Tom Cruise a serial killer?
No, I don't think so. But sociopath, maybe. Who knows?
I wouldn't count it out. I mean, he is a Scientologist.
I mean, a lot of them.
Is he a Scientology hitman? I wouldn't count it out.
Go watch Collateral if you have not seen.
I'm looking at your candle right now.
Yep, it's right there.
Just looming in the background.
He's like judging us right now. He's like, you will be judged later. All right, let's hold off on the rest and we will come back. And everybody should go watch Collateral if you've never seen it.
Gwen Stefani just did a brand deal with the #1 Christian prayer app, Hallow, and she posted this promotional video for Advent. Let's take a look at that first, and then we'll get into some of the responses.
Yes, we did watch this yesterday, but we are going to re-watch it for you, those of you who did not see it.
Christmas season has always been my favorite time of the year. It's a season that we get to celebrate the birth of our Lord. This year, I'm excited to share that I've partnered with this amazing prayer, meditation, and music app called Hallow on their 25-day prayer challenge leading up to Christmas called Advent Pray 25. Join me and millions of other Christians around the world as we celebrate together the truth that God so loved the world that he gave us his only son. Download Hallow and join me in praying every day. God bless.
Okay.
So
she looked weirdly stiff in that ad. Maybe it was the dress she was wearing or something like that.
Well, it's also a vertical video, so you can't really move out of the frame that much.
They're like, she's got her marker on the left and the right, and they're like, don't move.
Yeah. Well, as you can see here, Gwen Stefani is openly owning the fact and proclaiming the fact that she is a Christian. And that is a big no-no in her industry, obviously. A lot of people came out to say that she is being brainwashed. This says some commenters wondered about Gwen Stefani possibly being hacked or brainwashed after seeing her advertisement. Here, she's wearing
that she was hacked?
That her account got hacked or something.
And then they made like a fake video?
I don't know.
Okay.
Or it's AI. So they're saying it's because she has a modest outfit, which is uncharacteristic for her. Here it says, based on her earlier music career, many comments questioned this latest post promoting the Hallow app. One said, WTF, what happened to the cool Gwen Stefani? You look and sound like a Fox News host.
I mean, this is a terminally online take.
Another one said, girl, change your password. I think you've been hacked. Other people thought that Gwen Stefani is being put up to this by her husband, Blake Shelton.
Yes, of course. Just like those political ads this year that said, you can hide your phone from your husband.
Yeah, some people think that Gwen Stefani is secretly being controlled by Blake Shelton, her husband. One said, blink if your husband is making you do this, Gwen. Either that or this is AI. You're brainwashed. And I saw some more comments. Who is this and what have you done with the real Gwen? This cannot be real. Not only she just makes music to match her husband's, but now she seems like such a Republican. back then, I don't think Gwen would have ever been this person. What the heck happened? This is sad.
I don't know Gavin Rossdale's religious beliefs. That's who she was married to before.
Yes.
He also acts, if you didn't know. He played like a weapons dealer on an episode of Burn Notice, and he played a musician with a musician with like a killer agent in an episode of Criminal Minds. I'll always remember those because he's got this gnarly widow's peak where he looks like he'd be the perfect vampire. Like his hair goes back perfectly when it's like that. But I don't know his religious beliefs. You know, Bush is like back on tour. They're playing in Minnesota like this coming week, so he's performing again. But now she's married to Blake Shelton. Like, is the idea here that she wasn't a Christian before? Because that's not what we thought we heard yesterday, because they were saying that she used to go to church even when she was on tour with No Doubt.
Right. This person said, I really feel the need to defend her here. Gwen has always been open about her faith. She is a cradle Catholic, and if anything, her faith is part of why her and Blake Shelton fell for each other. He did not make her Christian, contrary to some of these people's belief.
Well, they really do believe that the only way that a Hollywood woman could ever possibly be a Christian is if she was brutally forced into it by a domineering husband.
Right. Brittany Hugaboom said, it's so crazy that Gwen Stefani, who never missed Sunday Mass while on her No Doubt tours, is a Christian. At least people are being honest and saying that they despised Christianity all along. The tolerant were never tolerant. Now she's facing essentially being canceled by her former fans. Her former fans just, they're like, this is bananas, girl. Yeah. Like, this isn't you. But you never knew this person in the first place. Like, that's the weird parasocial element to all of this.
It's like a weird form of stan culture where they feel like they know her better than...
Yeah.
And Hollywood celebrities willingly walk themselves into this by being as forthcoming as they are on social media, which we all know is just a snapshot of your life and not in any way indicative of your life as a whole.
Right. Well, the truth is, if you had been paying attention to her personal life over the years, Gwen Stefani has always been openly Catholic her entire life. And even to the point where she got an annulment from the Catholic Church after her divorce from her previous husband.
Yep.
And if anything, she made Blake Shelton focus on his faith more, according to what they've both said in interviews. This says Gwen made Blake Shelton more religious. Their shared faith is also important to them. Stefani was the one who ignited Blake Shelton's religious beliefs. They go to church with their kids and hold the same values. It's a priority for them. They have supported each other through their respective relationships ending.
Yeah.
It says, like, a lot of the people...
She had been married for a long time.
She was married for 13 years before...
He was only married for, what, 4 to Miranda Lambert, right?
Right.
Yeah. So they were both married to musicians.
Well, the rumor is that they actually cheated on their respective spouses with each other, but the official story does not go that way.
Well, they don't put the... It's only the official story that
I guess we'll never know, but, like, I would like to give them the benefit of the doubt. It says they met and became friends when they were judges on The Voice, and they didn't know it at the time, but it was a pivotal moment. Just over a year later, Blake Shelton and Miranda Lambert announced their divorce after 4 years of marriage, and the following month, Gwen Stefani ended her 13-year-long marriage with Gavin Rossdale. They supported each other, leading to an unexpected romance. After a few years of dating and musical collaborations, they got married in 2021 in a small, intimate ceremony. Blake Shelton says, I've learned a lot from Gwen about a lot of things. Just watching from her, learning from her, and learning how she thinks and treats people, how she operates in her life. Naturally, I started seeing God in everything because she does. Of course, that starts bleeding into my records and my music, and the next thing you know, I'm recording songs and writing songs about faith and God.
I suppose it's people would just assume if you have a blanket, like, base level understanding of music and tropes, and they're like, well, he's a country artist, so he must go to church because, you know, he's a country guy, so he probably believes in God.
Right, and then she's like a pop singer more so. So you would assume that she's just, I don't know, a deviant.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really go much past the surface level.
Yeah.
And as we said yesterday, it is a safer time to be vocal about conservative or traditional beliefs in general if you're an entertainer, especially
Right
after
now,
Trump's win.
It feels that way.
You'll get, obviously she's still getting a lot of blowback for this, but it would have been worse maybe a few years back.
In the chat, Trish Jansen says, no, Gwen did not cheat. Gavin cheated on her with the babysitter.
Yeah,
I have not fact-checked this, but thank you.
What people know about it, at least from what she said and from rumors, is that Gavin Rossdale cheated on her many, many times over and did not respect their vows, and that's why she was granted an annulment in the Catholic Church. So if you care enough about your faith to actually go to the effort of getting your marriage annulled, it means that you actually believe in it, regardless of whether you agree with that decision. Another celebrity I recently saw talking about faith was Rainn Wilson. He went on Alex O'Connor's channel and talked about how he used to be an atheist, but he explains here in this clip all of the experiences that he had that convinced him that was not possible.
You said start at 150?
Yep.
Like falling in love. I remember holding my son when he almost died in childbirth at 4 a.m. at a shitty hospital in the middle of Van Nuys, California, you know, in the hallway with, you know, my wife bleeding from her vagina and holding this miraculous birth and this doctor that saved my son's life, and looking into his eyes and the profundity of that experience, and my job as an artist, as an actor, to create characters, to take like, oh, these little pigeon scratches on a page and decipher that and make that into a character that people respond to. And not just Dwight, but dozens of characters I played before Dwight and after Dwight. And the mystery and miracle of art itself, of making something kind of beautiful and profound, of having these emotions, and the totality of the experience of being a human being, again, as David Bentley Hart talks about, the experience of God. It just didn't make sense to me that stuff just exists and then spins around, and then humans are, you know, there's little guppies, and then there's lizards, and then there's beavers, and then there's dinosaurs, and then there's, orangutans, and then there's humans. And here we are recording a podcast and having this kind of conversation at this level, and that it just has an essential meaninglessness to it as I experienced it.
It's not actually that surprising to hear Rainn Wilson talk about that, because I do recall him talking about the tropes that are used against Christians in Hollywood TV shows and movies. Yeah. He said that you encounter a character in one of these shows who is Christian, and it already spoils the plot for you because you already know that they're a horrible person, that they're the bad guy all along. And if you're willing to say something like that goes against the grain, I would guess you're warming up to at least a theistic worldview. At the very least, I mean, even if you don't make it as far as leaving a secular worldview, maybe understanding the bias against that worldview from the people within your own industry, where he's like, look, it's just boring, right? I have no idea if he is Christian, but it sounds like he at least no longer identifies as an atheist as he did in his 20s. It sounded like an agnostic worldview at the very least, right? Where I guess I would have to listen to the whole interview to find out. I don't know, but I'm open to the idea of the possibility there's more. So he said in the comments, like, it sounds pretentious. Yeah, actors, when they get really into things like this that they care about, usually it's more to do with them talking about their profession as a profession, like what they love about their job. It can get into really pretentious territory, but I tend to give them a pass on that more than I do when they get pretentious about politics, because I'm looking at somebody who loves what they do, talking about what they love to do. And even if it's pretentious sounding, I can appreciate that, we all can become more verbose when we're talking about something we really care about. Yeah, I would agree with that. So
Yeah. I do at least have to ask, because it came up beforehand. Is this somebody in the chat said this is not a very modest dress? Is it a modest dress?
I don't know why so many people were describing it as this extremely modest dress. It's not like Gwen Stefani recorded this Hallow ad in a prairie dress, like looking like Ballerina Farm out here. Yeah. It's just a normal, like, short dress with a high neck. I do imagine somebody was like, how much makeup would you like? She's like, yes. She's wearing a lot of makeup. If Gwen Stefani is trying to reinvent herself as some kind of Christian fundamentalist trad wife, I don't think that's what it is. She definitely missed the mark because she's wearing, this, like, I wouldn't say extremely modest outfit, and she's wearing all of this makeup and looking super glamorous. Well, that's what I'm saying. My point is, like, if she was trying to fake it, she would not be wearing the makeup. She would be wearing something more, I guess, theatrical. Which I actually, like, I appreciate that Gwen Stefani can be openly Christian, openly Catholic, and hold these beliefs and still be distinctly a unique person and not try to fit the mold of what people stereotype you to be. And honestly, that's probably a better way to win people over. Yes. Right? Like, when you go right to the extremes right off the bat, then people smell fake from a mile away. Right. And it doesn't ring true. If she's wearing a bonnet and it looks like an episode of Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, then suddenly it all falls apart. Right, exactly. So that was a PR win. We're going to finish up these super chats. Let's get a third crisis party, boys. Let's go. Shane H. Wilder said, wait, what is this? COTD? Sorry, lady, you married a woman. Oh, about the cringe of the day. You married a woman. I mean, he's worse than a woman, honestly. Because she's a woman and she's working for the both of them. Yeah. Well, look. I'm sure he's still plenty successful as a musician. Somebody goes, isn't he a rapper? No, they're talking about the guy in the Cringe video. Oh, yeah, that was... Not MGK. That was horrible. Yeah. Like, that was a new level of cringe to me. That's like, I take comfort in knowing that it had to be a skit. The nose wipe. Yeah. He's like, too much. Limp-wristed. Light in the loafers. Corey Anderson said, Anna, that Star Wars girl had her baby. Bring Vera Dark back. Yes, congratulations I didn't hear about Anna. That. Yes, I saw she posted about it on Twitter. Congratulations to her. The one that she thought was a boy but was actually a girl the whole time. Very, very cool to see people having kids, building lives together. Very cute. Building a life together. Pop culture junkie. I like the critical drinker, but always wondered if he's getting product placement dollars from Jack Daniels. I mean, that would be awesome, right? If you're, they say if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. Unlikely. That would be cool. Hiroshima Otaru said she found pics of MGK at a mathletes competition. Oh, he's like... I did see people saying, like, he was a... Oh, I missed this 20 from JTR11. Sorry about that. He said he was looking at other girls' thumbs. Maybe that's what it was. Because of Megan's weird thumbs. I did get through about half of Critical Drinker's Rogue Elements short film, like the proof of concept TV show. Other than, like, actually recognizing two of the actors in there, which was kind of cool. It was a fun proof of concept. I don't know if it was necessarily something that I would watch if the show was made as is, but obviously proof of concept means that the idea would be that once it would go into productions, it would have production would be a bigger budget and it would look more polished. But it was a lot of fun to watch. It's on his YouTube channel right now. It's called Rogue Elements TV Series Proof of Concept, so you can go and find that on his channel. But it was fun. Pat the Plumber. I don't know if I should even say this one out loud. Hold on, let me find it. MGK saved the vid of Diddy clowning him. Beep in him. Well, why did he save that? I guess for evidence. I don't know, man. Corey Anderson said Mary, Elizabeth, Teresa, Esther, Eve, Catherine, Morgan. It's a lot of names. I can barely remember my own name, and it's only 3 names. That was 5 middle names right there instead of 4. Mine are only 4. You have 4 middle names. And you got it all wrong. So, Congrats.
You know what it almost becomes? It's like, have you ever seen those games that people play? Well, you don't watch YouTube shorts, where it's like they put the 4 cups underneath, the 4 cups on top, and you have to move them around until the colors line up.
No.
You ever seen those videos? This is like, it's like Mary, Elizabeth, Teresa, Esther, Eve. It's like, how many of those was correct? Were any of them correct? And then like you have to keep guessing until you guess which ones are the correct names.
You will never guess my middle names.
That's true.
Okay, that's just not going to happen. I am going to give my kids 4 middle names each, though.
4 of them.
Just got to keep the tradition going.
The birth certificate will be like this long.
I mean, why not? You
Do
know, hasn't hurt me in life. STRYKE4707 said, longtime listener, first time super chatting.
Thank you.
Thank you for the weekly background noise for me at work.
You're
welcome, and thank you for watching.
Thank you so much for watching, and as always,
no, thank you.
I am very appreciative of everyone who puts us on in the background while they do other more important things.
And shout out to the longtime listeners, no time super chatters. We still appreciate you being here. Corey Anderson said alphabet people are just something that I'm not going to say. Hashtag rapture now. The rapture isn't real, bro.
In the chat, somebody said, okay, maybe Brett, Sorenko says, okay, maybe Brett is a normie. There it is. See?
How are you a normie?
I don't know, but...
For watching YouTube shorts?
About, yeah. Well, I tweeted yesterday about, like, I feel bad for, like, these streaming services sometimes because they spend, like, hundreds of millions of dollars on stuff. And I'm, like, watching just an endless barrage of, like, car tire holes being fixed, like, patched.
They will never win in the battle for your attention.
The attention economy is brutal, and they're in a losing battle. I'm like over here. I'm like woodworking videos.
Yeah.
But like tires getting patched.
Power washing.
Yeah, power washing stuff. Like
bricklaying.
Bricklaying's big. Woodworking. Woodworking, DIY, masonry, and stuff like that. And you're just like, or in my all-time favorite, you know, the mean power washing videos where the guy's just got an attitude.
Do any of these videos make you want to do the thing in the video?
The woodworking ones do. Like it's like
you would actually do that?
I would love it. It's like no, it's like my toxic trait is that I want to learn it, but I won't take the time to do so.
Maybe when you're retired.
Yeah.
You'll get around to it eventually.
I had a friend who was both he worked as both an electrician and in cabinetry making, and he would kind of seasonally go between them because one was like with a family company and one was just his other job, and he loved both of them, but he would go through phases where he liked one more than the other. But like, you know, that's not a calling, but you have to put a lot of time into getting really, really good at that.
Mm-hmm. Tacti Platty said, Brett, Mary Jo Slater was the casting director for Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, and got her son, Christian Slater, a cameo on the movie.
There you go.
Never heard of Christian Slater's mom until now.
I thought she was about to say, I've never heard of Christian Slater. I was like, ah!
No, I have definitely heard of Christian Slater. In fact, like, I can't think of an actor who's, like, alive and relevant today in their 20s or 30s, no, 20s, who is as attractive as Christian Slater was in his 20s. Like, that's just not a thing. He's just there was a breed of actor that just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. I mean, definitely not the ones that are, like, of the same age that he was when he was that way, I guess.
Yeah, they all have just something weird or, like, wrong with them.
Look, I'm sure there are. Like, he was also, like, he was a TV guy, not a movie guy, so there's...
Christian Slater?
Yeah.
He was in movies.
I mean, yeah, but he was more recognized for TV, right?
Like what?
Like the point I'm saying is, like, there's tons of actors out there who are, you know, who would probably be considered that type of traditionally attractive. You just haven't heard of them because there's just way more stuff coming out now. So back then you had 10 things made and everyone watched those 10 things.
He also obviously has a very distinct voice.
Yeah. And
an affect about him. Like the way that he talks is very distinctive, and I'm sure a huge reason why he was successful. I can't think of any Gen Z actors out there who have anything distinctive about the way they talk.
Christian Slater has also continued to work. Like that's like Jason Priestley.
Really
was from that
bad twink death though.
I mean, but that's the problem.
Egregious
right? Like,
twink death.
Like for the like, not everybody can be Paul Rudd, but Paul Rudd wouldn't have been considered that level of like handsome. He was just kind of a normal looking dude.
Right.
So he stayed a normal looking dude forever.
Good actor, but he wasn't a Christian Slater in the first place.
I remember there was the character in Clueless that I thought was Christian Slater that wasn't, the one that ends up being the gay friend.
The
who I
gay
think
friend?
his name,
He doesn't even look like Christian Slater.
But it's like when I was young, I like transposed the two onto one another because the character's name is Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What is that actor's name?
It's
I don't even remember.
It was no, the character's name was Elton.
You thought it was Elton? Okay,
Jeremy
that makes
Sisto.
way more sense. But
Yes.
Christian, but the gay friend is Christian though. Elton is Elton, you know.
Yeah.
But I see what you mean with the look-alike.
Yes, and that's an actor named Jeremy Sisto who now mostly just has a beard all the time and works on TV.
I don't even know what the actor's name who played Christian was.
Justin Walker.
Okay.
There.
Yeah. I forget these things.
Literally, that's what I think of. Yeah.
When you thought he
No,
looked like Christian Slater?
no, the other one, but
Yeah.
him. It's just really funny. They never remake Clueless. Whatever you do, guys, never remake Clueless.
But it's gonna happen. It's like doomed.
I
to
guess
happen.
if Mean Girls happened, then there's probably no way out of Clueless getting remade.
No. Mondo said, "Hallow back, girl, LMAO, good one, Brett."
Oh, come on! Like, here's the thing, guys.
It was such a good one.
10 years ago, 10 years ago, they would have actually done that.
Yeah, why don't they do that now?
10 years ago, they would have actually done
Why
that.
didn't they do that?
I don't know.
Is she like embarrassed of the song?
Oh, why wouldn't they do that with her song now? I have no idea. But who remembers when they made they put like a Keith Sweat song, one of his two, he was like a R&B artist who was famous for slow jams, like the song Twisted. And it became a McDonald's commercial in like 2020. And I was like, who the hell was the millennial marketing agent who said that this was a good idea?
I don't know.
I have no idea who it was.
Corey Anderson said, "Non-binary people want the perks of being gay, but don't want to do the sinning, which is worse than being a sinner. I am disgusted by this behavior." That's an interesting take on it. That's a unique take that I haven't heard before. I'll have to think on that. Dingus Khan said, "Is Hallow legit? I'm often concerned with commercialized Christianity." I have downloaded Hallow myself. I do not have a paid subscription. You can use it for free.
Mm-hmm.
But I just use it to, look at the daily scripture readings, and there's the rosary on there you can play. I think it's useful. It's not like you like pay to play. Like you have a monthly subscription or you don't. It's not like you pay in order to like pray the rosary. Like you get access to all of it at once. So there were some other ambassadors that they chose for the app that I didn't really agree with, like Liam Neeson, but
I think the hard part is just like they're like, not to make the same joke twice, but sometimes you gotta, do they feel like they have to make a deal with the devil just to get the name out there? And that's kind of a problem because it's a non-starter for a lot to be like, look, you can't choose this person or I'm not going to trust you to begin with.
Right.
Like you can't choose a pro-abortion Hallow app sponsor.
I can't imagine that they were aware of that before hiring him, though. I don't know. Soriko Productions said, "Hallow is a great app and I've used it every day for the past year and it's really helpful to pray with. Didn't know she was Catholic until a week ago, though. LOL. I'm glad that I liked Gwen Stefani for her music before knowing anything about her being Catholic, so I know for sure I'm not faking it."
Yep, people growing up, even from my generation, were, everyone knew No Doubt.
I listened to her, like, quite frequently, both No Doubt and her solo stuff. Shane H. Wilder said, "I enjoy Hallow. Jeff Caven's daily reflections are on point, and Father Mike, Bishop Barron, Jonathan Rumi, etc. It's not needed, but it doesn't hurt." Yeah, that's, you don't need to pay for prayer, but
pay to pray.
You don't need to pray. You don't need to pay to pray, but it's sometimes helpful. Cernco Productions said, is that rainfall, heat wave, extreme winter Wilson?
Yes.
Yes,
It is.
that one.
It is that one.
Alvin McGoth said, I just joined the stream and very first thing I hear is something about a bloody vagina.
Yeah,
not a good moment to tune in,
I thought
but
that was
in
like,
context, it made sense.
Given how flowery the rest of his prose were, he clearly went for like shock value by saying that.
But it just means that he has a way with his words.
Yes.
It just means he's a good speaker. Urashima Otaru said, Mary, 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 Mari, Murray, Morgan.
There you go.
And then Alvin McGoth said, Mommy Mary. I don't want to be called any of these things.
Maybe they could, like, somebody says, like, pay to pray wall. If they turned the southern border into a paywall where literally you can just get into America if you just pay a fee.
How much should the fee be, though?
I mean, it's like one of the reasons
taco.
why immigration is such a big thing. You know, illegal immigration is such a big thing is because the cost of actually coming here legally is so immense. So it really is just a huge paywall.
But what should it be?
No, not one taco. That's
if you send Mary specifically one $15 gift card to Taco Bell.
Yes.
I say let him in. Nate said, I can't have Taco Bell without thinking of you. Heart, me plus PCC forever. Well,
thank you for
that's
watching.
Heartwarming. Shane H. Wilder said, Brett is abnormy. Also, Mary, thank you for saying the rapture isn't real. Someone had to rip that Band-Aid off. Some may not like it, but it's true.
Do you want to explain that? I don't understand.
Do you know what the rapture refers to, though?
Give me a Cliff Notes version. Obviously, it's something I've heard before.
It's just all of the believers, all of the saved people in the world are going to get raptured into heaven, and then the tribulations of the apocalypse will begin. They will be
so you guys get
spared.
saved like just in time.
Yeah, Catholics don't believe in that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel kind of the point is.
I mean, that would be annoying, right? Like it's all about to go wrong and you just get pulled up into the sky and I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
Like,
but it's like the point of it is that these trials will purify and sanctify the Christians who remain on earth during that time and test their faith.
Oh, but the rest of them who were like
the rapture
the rest
just
of them
means
who did
you
their
get
homework
an easy
beforehand.
way out or whatever. No, I mean like they think that all Christians will just instantly disappear.
Okay.
I don't think most Christians even believe in that, though. I could be wrong, but I don't think most Christians believe that's a thing. Shane H. Wilder, Omega Red fan said maybe we'll get MGK Transformers movie by Michael Bay.
That would be really funny.
The ultimate revenge against
he
his
replaces like they bring back
He
Shia
just has like a
LaBeouf.
major bromance with Michael Bay after this.
He comes back as Shia LaBeouf's long lost brother that wasn't in any of the movie in the first three movies for no reason.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Why did you have to put Clueless remake out there?"
Yeah,
you jinxed it, Brett.
Look, I look.
When it happens, I'm blaming you.
If you don't think that they haven't already considered this, you are wrong. You are wrong, my friends.
Please no.
I mean, what they really need to do if they're going to continue it on is, make Dion the.
Just make a spin-off that's about Dion.
Well,
they wouldn't do that though. Even the very tame racial comedy in Clueless back then would never fly today.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah. I just like the fact that she just drove to school every day without a license.
Yeah.
2 permits do not equal a license.
The audacity. Carnell said, if there was a Christmas film that isn't Die Hard or The Nightmare Before Christmas back into theaters, what movie are you choosing? I excluded those 2 movies because I wanted to rule out normie answers.
Like a Christmas film?
To bring back into theaters?
I mean, I don't know. I love the Santa Claus with Tim Allen, but that's a normie answer too.
Elf is the normiest normie answer of all normies.
Yeah. I did not forget about the Clueless show. I never saw the Clueless TV show, so I can't speak on it.
Christmas movie. You know what? Polar Express. I'm going there. Put it back in theaters. Was it in theaters? It was.
I assume so, yeah. It was a Zemeckis film, right? No way that one went out to streaming when streaming didn't exist yet.
I was wondering if it went to TV, but yeah. The Rumbling said, Brett, take back your Christian Slater slander. He has a slew of movies he has starred in. One of my favorites is Pump Up the Volume or Gleaming the Cube.
Wasn't he in Broken Arrow too? Am I wrong about that?
I thought he was primarily a movie actor.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
I didn't see him in a TV show until I watched Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
Mondo said, wasn't Seamus sponsored by Hallow, or am I crazy?
Is that true?
He might have promoted them. I'm not sure. I never saw it. High Voltage 75 said, will Cher get race swapped in the Clueless remake?
Well, no, they don't have to do that. They can just make it about
Dion.
Yeah.
And avoid the whole thing. I don't know. There's nothing that they could do to... I mean, you can't remake Clueless without ruining it, basically.
Well, it's like Mean Girls. It's so of its time that you can't really do that.
They made a version of Emma, which Clueless is based on. It's a Jane Austen story. So you can't just rewrite that.
Yeah.
It's already perfect. Justin Campbell said, I don't understand why Taco Bell got rid of Baja Chalupas. Baja sauce made the best chalupas. My super chat is because you're the best representatives.
Well, okay.
I never heard of that. Do you know what that is?
No, not so. I mean, you're more the Taco Bell aficionado.
It's like
than
a
me.
Baja Blast sauce. Hold on. That sounds disgusting.
And yeah, you guys were right. Christian Slater was more of a movie actor than a TV actor. I think I like a lot of times back then I would have been confusing him with like a Jason Priestley.
Okay. Ulvin McGoth said, what is your opinion on Eastern Orthodox Christianity versus Catholic Christianity? Personally, I only recognize East Orthodox as real Christians.
Well, of course, you can imagine I have very strong opinions on this, so let me give those to you now. No, Mary, go ahead.
Personally, I recognize both Orthodox and Catholics as real Christians and Protestants as real Christians, but given that I'm Catholic myself, I think you can tell what my take is on which church has the fullness of the truth. But this is not a theology podcast, and I'm definitely not the person that you should go to resolve questions about anything theological. Shane H. Wilder said, I would see It Happened on Fifth Avenue in theaters. Oh, I know. It's a Wonderful Life. That should be in theaters.
There you go.
Not the new one.
I mean, I suppose like a lot of them probably do get re-released at Christmas. And here's the thing, probably more so now after the strike. There was probably a slew of them last year that we didn't even think about.
No Santa Inc., no Red One, no Violent
Definitely
Night.
no Santa Inc.
All of the new Christmas movies are just too like cynical and self-aware.
In
That's
what way?
The problem.
What about them is
like even something like Violent Night. I remember when we reviewed that, we had positive things to say about it, but then in the meta sense, do we really want that to be your prototypical Christmas movie?
Yeah.
It's very cynical and it's very ironic and self-aware, and I don't like that. It should be wholesome, sincere, vulnerable, family-oriented.
There is an allergy to sincerity
Yeah.
and to vulnerability in Hollywood now because it seemed I suppose it's right next to the idea of being naive to them.
Oh, I want to ask you something. Do you remember Rudolph? Like, you remember watching it, you know, like basically the plot?
Like the claymation, like when I was a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, vaguely.
There was this elf in it who was he like wanted to be a dentist. Do you remember this?
This sounds familiar, yes.
Yes, and he was like reviled by the other elves for his dream of becoming a dentist.
Okay. I mean, I feel like I don't remember that from that story. I remember that from it being like an article that I read about it.
I feel like that was like an allegory for him being gay. Now that I look back
in the day?
Yeah.
Back in the day.
But like a very veiled allegory for like him being gay and not being accepted by the other elves in elf society.
And that's why Rudolph is I also like
Rudolph is actually an allegory for racism.
No, and the worst part about that is the critical theorists who pick Rudolph apart and say society only values you when you can offer something to them, which that there's a long line of thought about how Rudolph is only later accepted once he's proven to be useful to the in-group.
Good.
And I'm like,
Yeah, that makes total sense.
I was like, that's a commentary on manhood. On the masculine experience. If anything, either way, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, either way, shut the fuck up and just enjoy it. Just like, even if you're right.
Shut the fuck up and enjoy Rudolph.
Even if you're right.
You suck.
Even if you're right, shut the fuck up.
I had never heard that take before, but totally agree.
No, don't, like, seriously, don't encourage these people.
No, not them.
Not them. Shut the fuck up.
I agree with shut the fuck up and enjoy it.
Just ignore, just enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Pop Culture Junkie said there are a ton of movies that if you remade them, you would ruin them. I mean, all of them, right?
Pretty much everything, in my opinion, is a product of the time in which it was made, and the nostalgia that you feel for it is tied directly to a certain vibe that was there of that time period. Now, they're going to continue White Collar, and I just don't think that you can continue a show that existed during Occupy and somehow didn't cause heavy critique on the wealthy class, that managed to make a criminal while making him sympathetic without apologizing for his crimes. And doing that in 2024 will not be possible. The writers will not be able to resist critiquing. Now, from what I understand, the creator of that show, he seems pretty balanced. I follow him on Twitter. He seems like a pretty balanced, normal guy, all things considered. But who knows? I don't have any faith in the Suits the Suits spin-off that's coming out soon too with Stephen Amell. Again, another show that came out at a specific time that hit in a specific way, and all of modernity will impact inwards on these shows and make it impossible to like them.
Do you think Meghan Markle would at least do like a cameo?
That's a good question. I mean,
just like one episode.
Like, for her, is her ego so big? Like
does
so
she really think
like,
that American Riviera Orchard is so important she can't spare like a week?
Like, I wonder if the idea is that she's like, I can't do it because then it seems like I've got nothing going on. But if it's just one episode,
yeah, just like one scene, even, not like the whole episode, just like a one like pass by.
Her and they just walk by.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Pat the Plumber said 8-bit Christmas thoughts.
Never saw it. Or is that music?
I don't know. I haven't seen it or heard it. I don't know. DCNC said, name the film, Brett. Kevin Costner, Morgan Freeman, Christian Slater, Alan Rickman, 1991.
You're going to get me on today. I should have done my research beforehand.
I don't know it either. Mondo said, because he wants to get up in other guys' mouths.
In relation to what?
The elf dentist.
Oh.
I don't think it was that. But you could be right. Shane H. Wilder said Hermie the elf was definitely gay. Okay, I was on to something then. Thank you for confirming my theory there. DCNC? Wait, no, I'm like way behind right now.
Would it have been Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves?
Well, you looked it up. You were cheating.
No, I'm saying I'm asking because he had a couple movies that came out that year.
They wanted you to know on first.
I didn't know.
First glance. Shane H. Wilder said the what is this? Charlie in the box was gayer? I don't know what that means. DCNC said if they remake The Goonies, bring on the meteor. Oh, they would too.
But
they would make it all with like Gen Alpha, and they would call it the Gooners.
I saw.
And they're all getting knee surgery. It's not that funny. Stop laughing. It's not funny.
The problem is it would work better as a skit than it would as a movie.
They would actually just cast a bunch of brain rot-ridden children.
There was I saw Robert Meyer Burnett had a hot take recently where he said that The Goonies wasn't good, and he was going back and forth with people online. That's the thing. You can't have some type of controversial opinion anymore. Everybody attaches your worth to whether you agree with them about something you loved from your childhood.
You already got the Sandlot remake, right?
What? They made a sequel, like a straight-to-DVD sequel.
Oh, there was no remake, right?
Guys, did they make a Sandlot sequel? If it did, I never watched it, and I never will.
Okay, never mind. Thank you.
Put it cool.
Eat the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats.
All right. Are there any
We
more?
have a few more. Alvin McGoth said, my cousin and aunt are dentists, and they were obsessed with that dentist elf back in the day. My last chat I need to make to next paycheck.
That's what.
Okay, thank you anyway.
That's what Hermione's parents were in Harry Potter as well. Dentists.
I bet they were gay too. Like all dentists. Shane H. Wilder said Charlie in the Box from Island of Misfit Toys. Oh, right. Pop Culture Junkie said any remakes that either of you actually liked.
I could probably make a list of those. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I like has probably been a remake of some. Oh, Gone in 60 Seconds was technically a remake. I love Gone in 60 Seconds. Fast and the Furious, the original, is technically a remake, albeit completely different from the original film of the same name. But Gone in 60 Seconds in particular, love it.
There's gotta be at least one. I don't know. I don't know. It's not occurring to me right now. I don't think I like any remake. High Vulture 75 said, can you explain the knee surgery stuff?
Literally,
honestly, no.
No, like I've done my research into it, and I like, that's the thing. I think the point of brain rot is you shouldn't explain it.
Yeah.
Is that all you know is that it's become part of the lexicon, and that's what matters.
That's the point.
Yeah. Like right now, there's a growing number of brain rot Christmas songs like Last Christmas and various other songs that are being made that constantly reference things that make no sense. And that's really the point.
That's kind of beautiful in a way.
It is. It is. It's kind of a commentary on kind of the disposability of the internet as a whole.
Yeah.
So, all right. Is that all of them?
I think we're all caught up now.
Okay. All right, guys. Before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed here yet already? Mary, where can we find you?
We were not, in fact, caught up. High Voltage 75 said, by the way, Brett, did you know Michael Bay directed the first Got Milk ad in the early 90s, the one about Aaron Burr?
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
Wow. I didn't know that.
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. Guys, if you want to follow me, Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, guys, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is noon Pacific. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would prefer to listen rather than watch this show, you can rate and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Helps the show greatly, so thank you guys for that. And if you want to follow the show on social media, Twix at popculture_show, Facebook, and not TikTok, because we were banned on TikTok, at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We will be back with another episode tomorrow. We will see you then, guys.
Bye.
Later, everyone.